Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, and I am here to tell you that the Xbox has officially collapsed. Xbox Series sales collapsed in 2025. Apparently, they're down 70%. They just sold 1.8 million units. And this is after a price hike, which was really stupid considering how far behind Xbox was from the PlayStation and even the Switch. And I'm telling you, I think we're looking at end stage modern console, right? It feels like we've basically hit that ceiling. How much are consumers willing to pay for a console that anymore is just a gaming PC, a cheap ass gaming PC that you can't upgrade? How much are they willing to pay? Well, I think Valve is going to find out. They're going to find out how much people are willing to pay. And it just doesn't make sense, I think, a lot of cases, to buy a modern console. Now, I'm not throwing shade at consoles. I know a lot of people say that I'm pretty hard on consoles or console gaming now. No, this current generation of consoles I have a problem with. Previous years, I love my consoles. I have got a massive collection of consoles. In fact, for Christmas, I just got a very minty Dreamcast. So my wife and kids went in and bought me another Dreamcast. I haven't had one for a long time. Bought me a bunch of games. I do collect vintage games and consoles and arcade machines. So yeah, I'm a big fan of plug and play. I am. But again, this current generation of consoles, just it ain't it, man. And the prices are through the roof. And the games are, you can play better games on PC. Just what is the point? I think we need to go back to actually having consoles that understand the assignment, that they're cheap, relatively cheap, plug and play, couch play, mostly offline. Games are reasonably priced, exclusive titles. You know, we're not seeing a lot of that anymore. We really aren't. Even the Switch, I'm going to be honest, other than the Nintendo titles, it feels like the Switch is just a cheap ass PC too. I'm just saying. Yes, I'm gonna talk about this. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV. We got some podcasts out there for you. We're getting warmed up. We are getting warmed up. If you join the Reef, you get access to our forums, and we're gonna be doing, I think, some private servers too. So we're gonna be doing some stuff over there. So check it out. More.clownfishtv.com. Let's talk about this. I know we've talked about before that console sales were terrible this year. Xbox sales are down 70%. The PS5 is down 40%, and that was the leader of the pack. But they jacked the prices of the Xboxes up. And it's so weird. We went to Hallmark today. It's the day after Christmas when I'm recording this. And we went to Hallmark. And they had, you know, their ornaments that they do every year. And they always have, you know, the pop culture stuff. And they had an Xbox 360 ornament. I almost bought it. It was half price. Kind of wish I would have. But that was the last time the Xbox was great. And they got their ass kicked this time, even by the Next Playground, which is effectively a Kinect. And, you know, they forgot the assignment, I think, of who these consoles are for. It's embarrassing. It really is. So Tech for Gamers has it. Xbox Series sales collapsed in 2025, falling to just 1.8 million units sold. Even the original Nintendo Switch sold twice as many units as the Xbox. The Switch has been out since 2017, and the Switch 2 is out. Most people, if given the choice, are probably just going to buy a Switch 2, unless, you know, money is an issue for them. I mean, seriously, this is embarrassing. Xbox Series X S only sold 1.8 million units around the globe. Around the globe, that's not even the US. That's around the world. The company's hardware sales declined by 70% year on year this November. PS5 and the Nintendo handhelds also suffered, but their sales numbers are more respectable than the Xbox. And I think this was the beginning of the end, honestly, was the This Is an Xbox campaign, where they wanted to sell the Xbox as basically Steam. The Xbox is basically a platform and not a piece of hardware. And that's it. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the end of Xbox. There's no coming back from this. There's no reason to make another console. There's no interest in it. They don't have exclusives. And Microsoft's margins are horrible. What they're asking for, I've heard, and a couple of different reporters had this, 30% margins on video games. You're not going to get that. It's not worth it to Microsoft to make a game console anymore. If they make another Xbox themselves, I'd be shocked. They just had the ROG Ally branded Xbox or whatever, handheld. I think it's over. I really do. I think this is the end of Xbox as a console. And Xbox was always weird. I mean, they had Halo, and once Halo went to PlayStation, once they went to Sony, that was it too. I mean, not that anybody gives a shit about Halo anymore, but it said 2025 has been a difficult year for Xbox and Microsoft across multiple fronts. However, the biggest setback has come from hardware. Revenue from Xbox console sales dropped by 29% this year, marking one of the company's steepest declines in recent memory. In addition, the company has also alienated a large section of its fan base by hiking the price of the Xbox Series twice in 2025. And they're going to blame chip shortage, RAM, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you, it's because of the margins. Microsoft, they're going to use that as an excuse. Actually, I am thinking there's something very Machiavellian going on here, that they're going to basically use the excuse that they can't afford to compete anymore because of the price of hardware. And they're going to say, well, because of the price hikes, because of the tariffs, because of whatever, we had to jack the price of the Xbox up and nobody bought it. So it's not worth it for us to be in the hardware business anymore. And it might not be. I mean, with RAM prices too, it might not be worth it for them to be in the hardware business. I'm going to be honest. I think this is it. I think this is the end of Xbox. I'd be very, very surprised if they announced another console. I'd be very surprised. When you take all that into account, it isn't all that surprising to find out that 2017's Nintendo Switch outsold the Xbox hardware this year. Why it matters. Xbox has already lowered expectations for series consoles, yet the number still came in far worse than anticipated. So you can see in 2022, they did 5.8 million, 2023, 4.5, 2024, 3.1, and this year, 1.8. What is the point? And everybody else kind of held out. I mean, the Switch won. I mean, it took a massive hit from 2024 because the Switch 2's out, right? And again, the people that are going to buy a Switch 1 are going to be the more budget-conscious people. And they're really, I'm going to be honest, I mean, the Switch 2, we have one. I've played it twice. I still play my Switch 1 more than I play my Switch 2. There really aren't a whole lot of good games out for it yet. So, you're not missing much. That's what I'm saying. You're not really missing much. There aren't any, we don't have a gotta-have-it game. What we have are slightly upgraded games from the Switch 1 and a couple of, they're all right. Mario Kart and Donkey Kong and whatever. But we don't have any killer apps yet for this one. So just wait till it's easier to find and the price goes down. As can be seen above, the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S consoles have only sold 1.8 million units globally in 2025. To put this into context, 3.4 million Nintendo Switch handhelds have shipped this year, despite it launching almost a decade ago and its sequel coming out in June. The sales of Xbox Series consoles have taken a massive hit as statistics show a 70% decrease in sales year on year when comparing the November timeframe. No doubt the PS5 has also declined in performance, dropping 40%. However, the Sony Starlet has managed to sell over 9 million units worldwide, giving it a healthy boost in already high numbers. So that would be the PS5. And it took several years for the PS5 to get to that point. I feel like the PS5 is kind of the successor to the PS2 in that regard. Like, the PS2 was popular out of the gate, but it took a couple of years for it to be, a console like everybody had. It was just kind of a given. If you had a console, it was probably a PS2. Nintendo also suffered less of a setback thanks to the launch of the Switch 2. It only fell 10% in sales year on year. Microsoft has its sights set on next gen with Phil Spencer teasing full PC integration for the upcoming Xbox. What is the point of having a console? However, Xbox is dead last in the console rankings, with Valve launching its own console next year. Yeah, that is going to be actually the Steam machine will likely be the successor to the Xbox. And I don't know how it's going to do. They tried before and they failed, right? Like, I don't know why you would bother if you're losing money and they're only going to get more and more expensive to make because of the RAM situation, because of the AI or whatever the hell they're blaming for it. I don't get it. Competition is going to get tougher, even in the console PC hybrid market. Do you think Xbox has been unlucky? No, Xbox is just fucked. I mean, they haven't been unlucky. They made a lot of really piss poor strategic decisions. And it's so funny. Like, I'm not hearing these Xbox stands going on and on like they were before. I remember when Starfield came out, you were not allowed to criticize Starfield. It was the greatest game ever, even though it clearly was not. You were not allowed to criticize it because, we're Xbox, console wars. It's over. The console war is over. Xbox came in dead last. They're done. Whatever momentum they had with the 360, they killed it. And it's been downhill since then. Like the One, I don't even think they did that great, did it? The Series, nobody, I don't think I know. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, like all my friends, like, do I know anybody that even bothered buying a Series? I don't think so. I mean, most of my friends are, either retro gamers or PC gamers, but they have PS5, they have a Switch. I don't even know if I know. I mean, we had a gaming center for like 5 years. I never bought an Xbox Series for it because nobody cared. Nobody wanted one. I'm like, we got PC. We got multiple PCs. We got a shit ton of PCs. It does everything the Xbox does and then some. Nobody asked for it. We had PlayStations. We had PS5s. We had PS4, PS5, PS1. But we didn't have an Xbox. We didn't even have, I was actually half tempted to hook up an old 360. We had a bunch of retro consoles. I didn't bother with that. Like most of those games, they're worth playing, or they're on the PlayStation, or they're on the PC, or we're just not getting enough requests for it, and I could use a TV for something else. But yeah, this is crazy, guys. What do you think about this? I think it's over. And and this guy here, this is on Reddit. He says, I think we're reaching saturation with GTA 6 being the nail in the coffin. I don't think the time is right for a new console. I think it would be the biggest flop of all time. Steambox looking around. Well, I think the difference is the Steambox is basically an optimized mini PC. That's my understanding. So here's where I think we need to go with consoles. Consoles have a place. I think Nintendo will always be in the console business because it's kind of a cross between a computer and a toy, right? But even that, even with that, the Switch 2 is not doing as good as they thought it was going to do. So I think where we need to go with consoles is backwards. I'm going to be honest. I think we need to go back to basically pick a point in time that we can all agree on. Like, this is the best era for games. This is the most cost-effective machine we can make. And everybody's like, oh, let's do retro consoles. Let's do 16-bit consoles. I'm like, no, let's do 32, 64-bit consoles. Let's do PS2, PS3 era graphics. Because you could make a console that would run those kinds of games and probably sell it for under $200, $150. Go back to that. Go back to couch play. Stop with these MMOs unless, if the game wants to run the server, whatever. It's not your responsibility to run all of that. Put the game on the cartridge. Put it on a disc. It's done. It's when you buy it, the game you're buying is complete. You plug it in, you turn it on. You go back to what makes a console because, like I said, the modern consoles are just cheap-ass gaming PCs that come with a lot of the problems and the hang-ups that you run into with PC gaming. You don't own your games. They're not complete. They're always patching them. Just go back to what worked, and I think you'd be fine. I think if we could go back to that and just be like, look, you want to just plug it into the TV, turn it on, and play with 3 or 4 of your friends, this is for you. I would like to see that again, but they won't do that. They won't do that because they got to chase those margins, right? I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.